Reality is not what it appears to be. Reality is not what it appears to be. Reality is not what it appears to be. Hello from Sweden and welcome to Everyday Mystic, a gentle guide to your liberation. My name is David and I hope that you're feeling well and that you're having a good day. Now many of us are starting to figure out that we are living in some sort of illusion. But we must not confuse these words with knowing what this actually means. This is what I am figuring out more and more of as my journey progresses. That it is very easy to confuse the word that we try to describe reality and all its aspects with actually having an understanding of what something means. And the basics of this, as far as I've figured out, all we really truly need to know is that if we are starting to wake up to this, we are going through a huge shift on the inside. And the best thing that we can do is to try and align ourselves with this shift to the best of our ability. This shift is connected with what is happening in the world, with all the chaos that you are seeing around yourself. And as I said, you are starting to wake up to that we are living in some sort of illusion. Now the Hindus have known this for a very long time. Their sages have tried to explain this for many thousands of years. But now the rest of the world is catching up, and this is no longer just for the spiritual elite. This is for everyone to access. And we don't need these very strenuous exercises to access it anymore. Is everyone going to ascend fully? What is exactly going to happen as we go through this process? I have no idea. I just know that if you found yourself waking up to this, your mission is to align yourself with this process. Now we all have our individual journeys, and some of us go more down the rabbit hole than others. Nothing is better or worse than anything else. We just go through different journeys. And this is what I'm trying to help people with on this channel. To show different ways that we can make this journey more smooth for us. How we better can align ourselves with this journey. It can be, as I've already stated many times, through self-observation, to understanding ourselves better, to understand our relationship with reality better, to understand our brains better, and to, in general, understand the human experience. It can be through different spiritual practices, through meditation, yoga, rituals, etc. Anything really that you feel called to do that will help you to get more in alignment with this process. But also be a little bit vigilant when it comes to this. Observe how your actions are affecting you, not just in the immediate response that you get from life, but also how your life progresses on a longer scale. Some actions may not show their consequences for many years until suddenly something happens to you. And it's not just the physical responses, but it is also how things affect you spiritually. It's even primarily how things affect you spiritually. And you need to be a bit vigilant to discover this. But now let's move on to our situation in the world. What we can truly say about the world around us and the information that we are being fed. And I want you to think carefully about this. Reality is not what it appears to be. You cannot really trust anything that your five senses are telling you about reality. So when it comes to global events, when it comes to significant events on world politics, for example, can you really be sure that anything that comes from the internet or comes on the TV or whatever it is really what it appears to be, when you know that you are living in some kind of illusion? You don't know how far the rabbit hole goes when it comes to certain individuals' ability to affect the illusion, to make the illusion appear to be something that it is really not. So when it comes to this, what is the wisest thing to do? First, if you know that you are living in an illusion, if you know that in a sense, the way that you perceive the world today is just a very small fraction of everything that you can potentially perceive, is it really wise to primarily try to fix things by interacting with the illusion? This comes to both ourselves on an individual level and how we approach things on a collective level. Are the solutions outside really effective? Should we act to just try and protect our little physical body and brain from harm? Or should we look for other solutions? Should we maybe start looking within? Look at our own level of awareness and how it causes us to interact with reality, with other people, and with the planet in general. Again, how it causes us to interact with the illusion. Because the more we wake up to the things that are laying dormant inside of ourselves, the easier it will become to approach the world also. This is where the real solution lies. Not in trying to force other people or society in general to conform to our will, but to do what we can to wake ourselves up, and then also do what we can to wake other people up. Because every person that wakes up becomes by necessity a positive force in the world. Nothing is set in stone with what you have to do. The big thing is to align yourself with the global awakening, and things will start to sort themselves out in the physical reality. So think about this when it comes to recent political events. I know many of you know what I'm talking about, but I feel that my channel might be hurt if I speak too frankly about these things. Maybe things are what they appear to be, maybe they are not what they appear to be. How much can we really know about anything? And furthermore, is it really worth to start quarreling with friends and family over the global events that are taking place? Do we really need to impose our view of reality on other people? Is this something that is going to make the situation better? Or is it better to actually turn the gaze towards ourselves, to see what we can make for positive changes in our own lives, in how we approach other people, ultimately how we approach God, how we connect with God, the spiritual life that we are living today? When you know that reality is fundamentally spiritual, when you know that reality is fundamentally consciousness, when you look out into the world, and this is the cycle that we need to break free from, you see so much brainwashing from very young age. People are not happy in this society when you look outside, of course not. But we are being brainwashed into chase after things that don't really matter to us. And this chase is making us very unhappy. Our ego is fed. We are fed this idea that we need to assert our opinions, our dominance, that we need to convince other people that we are right and they are wrong, and so on. We get triggered into these thought loops, into these emotional states that make us act in one way or another, and all of this is pure nonsense. In essence, all is one. We are one with each other. We are one with God. And this is the primary perspective. But as I said in the beginning, until you really start to experience this and live from it, it will just be empty words. And this is what we need to know. All of this illusion, all of this nonsense that we see around ourselves are just little traps that try to suck in our awareness. But can you really trust anything that you see in the public sphere? Anything? And if you can't really, when you honestly assess things, when you ask yourself without ego and in total honesty what you can truly know about the things that you perceive out there, can you really trust any of it? And if you can't really trust any of it, is it so damned important to be right about it? Why? Ask yourself, why is it so important to be right about this illusion that you see outside of yourself? When you know that the spiritual reality that is waking up within is the real true reality, ask yourself this. Because when you truly ask yourself this question, you will most definitely come to the conclusion that you are focusing on the wrong things. If you really understand what I'm talking about here. And what you will also find when you go on the inside, when you connect with God, is that there is no real reason to fear anything. Yes, there is a lot of chaos out in the world. You might even die, but on the grander scheme of things, you are going to live forever. And it's not your actions that are taken out of fear that is going to be brought with you after this life. They are not the ones that are going to benefit you long run. When you try to protect yourself from other people, when you try to force your will on other people, when you try to grab on to whatever little joy and pleasure that society throws you, none of this is going to follow you beyond the grave, so stop focusing on it. Get your priorities straight, because we are in for a rough ride. But as far as I can tell, it is also going to be a very wonderful, magnificent ride. You are going to wake up to so much things within you. I can promise you that, because I have seen it, I have experienced it. I don't know what everything of this means. I can't tell you that, but I can tell you that there are so many amazing things awaiting you in this. And the best thing, as I said, is to align yourself with the process to the best of your ability. Of course, in the means that you can, try to prepare yourself, take care of your body, etc. It's not a bad thing to be as prepared as possible for whatever may come down the line. We don't know what will come, but we know that somewhere we can meet whatever comes without fear. There might be pain, suffering, death, etc. But ultimately we are taken care of by God. And ultimately we are in some way or another going to live forever. So just do your best in it and leave the rest to God. The outcome is guaranteed. It is the road that leads to the outcome that is not so guaranteed, that is still unsure. So focus on what you can actually know. Focus on God, focus on your connection with other people, focus on the things that you can actually control in your life, and leave the rest up to God. But don't accept anything more than you have to from the world, because As I said, none of this is real, so you can't trust any of the solutions that people say are necessary when it comes again when you look at the public sphere. You cannot trust any of the threats that people say are on the horizon. And anyway, the world is fundamentally spiritual, so you can't trust that the solutions that some people propose are actually necessary. Definitely don't trust when people say that they have to limit your freedoms in one way or another. Because this is part of some sort of, I don't want to say the word actually, but I think you know what I mean. Some people are planning certain things. So, realize that you are not going to figure this out with your mind. It's not going to happen. The five sense reality is just a tiny spectrum of your whole experience as an unlimited divine being. This is also something that you need to know. And you need to get your focus straight when it comes to this. Because it's easy to say that yes, I believe reality is an illusion, I believe that everything is not as it appears to be, but then just turn on the news and get fed whatever propaganda that is coming to you about what is going on in the world and what has to be done about it and what you need to care about and what not. So therefore, work on yourself, work on your relationship with God and with other people, and see that things will begin to shift more and more on the inside. Focus on this. Analyze what these experiences, what these shifts actually mean to you. Try to understand what is going on because your immediate experience is not as clear as it might appear to be. You might, for example, think about something that you need to do, such as staying more grounded and present in the moment, while your awareness is in reality away somewhere else. This is how tricky the mind is. Also, I've come more and more into contact with heart-brain coherence. I've been practicing it for many years, but lately this created such a profound shift in me. And I'm actually not going to go into detail about this because I have several videos about it, and I also have 2 videos out about it on my and my wife's second channel, Internet Mystic Database, and I will leave link to all of this in the description so you can check it out for yourself. Also, when it comes to this, observe yourself. Notice all the ways that your mind sidetracks you, because it sidetracks you all the time. As I said, your thoughts can fool you into all kinds of weird directions, while you think that you are still grounded and present in the moment. This is what the mind does. Your mind will trick you all the time. You might, for example, and this is just an example, I want you to observe these reactions for yourself, encounter some triggering circumstance in your life. Maybe you get a parking ticket, you get an emotional response. This emotional response sets a whole flood of thoughts in motion, and these thoughts in turn start to trigger more and more emotions, making you go into an angry frenzy. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I think you can understand what I'm talking about here. And this is what will steal your attention away from the present moment. And what you need to do is to remember to be observant enough to realize when this is happening and bring your attention back to the present moment, back to openness, to acceptance, to being in non-resistance. And this is what heart-brain coherence can help you do. So check out my videos on that. Fundamentally, there is nothing that can really hurt you. All is one. You need to align yourself with the shift as much as possible, but the shift happens whether you like it or not. You can kick and scream as much as you want. But if you want to be a positive force in it and suffer as little as possible along the way and make life a pleasant ride, align yourself with the shift. What I've figured out when it comes to the 3D reality, and it doesn't really matter as far as I can tell, but the best way, the most free way to do it is to try and be like Jesus. Follow his teaching and follow the example he set. The belief system, as far as I can tell, is not that important. The important thing is to actually understand what it was that Jesus taught. Because this will set you free from all of these chains that the world places upon you. I already touched upon it with this faulty programming, with these false values, where the world tells you to go out and chase after all of these momentary pleasures, material belongings, etc., and that you only have this life to experience as much as possible and then it will all be over. When you understand fully that this isn't so, that you are going to live forever, that you are one with God and ultimately you are safe, you don't have to act out of this fearful state anymore. So there is truth on the inside. But be very careful with what you can actually say about what is going on. And honestly, is it really worth being an enemy of other people because of different worldviews? When it comes to things that when you know that all of this is an illusion, you cannot really know anything for sure anyway. What you need to know, trust me, it will be revealed to you. And this has been a big difficulty for me because I want to see, I want to know, but my attention is instead directed towards my present moment experience. And that is what I have to be fine with. So I understand that it can be frustrating to not really know and to feel the impulse to want to know more than we can actually do. So focus on what you truly can know, what you can control, on your relationship with God and with other people, and to get into as much alignment as possible with the process that you are going through. And that's it for today. If you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment and share the video on social media and other places. All of it helps the channel to grow. And if you haven't done it already, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so YouTube always notifies you of new videos. And check out the description and the comment section for other things that me and my wife are doing. Both check out the new YouTube channel and check out my store where I, among other things, sell my own personal creations. And other than that, just sincerely thank you for your time.